Correct. So the first pillar is you need to define and get crystal clear on what it is that you want, and more importantly, why you want it and how you get there. Two, you need to create. You need to learn how to make money and make it work for you. And three, you need to learn how to manage your money, because there's going to come a point in time where you've got so much wealth that the compounding is greater than your earned income. And that's when we start to create real magic. So those three skills is what we need to learn.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Now, when we need to start to learn, because we discuss, and it's a lot of debate in this podcast, right? I always say to the entrepreneur that a good idea could be, okay, you have your business and you start to make money, but a very normal tendency or steady tendency, okay, I'm making money in my business, let's reinvest in the business. I'm making more money, let's reinvest. Let's grow this business, let's reinvest. And then after they grow this business and then put all the money back into the business, COVID happened, something happened, and you go to zero very quickly. And what happened with all this hard work? I always said that could be a good idea. Yeah. For example, to as you grow your business, if you can take this part of the money and let's say you buy a house, and therefore the rent from the profit that this rental house give you, you can use it for marketing. Guess what? Right? You have capital for your marketing for your business because you produce it.
Yes.
But if you go out of business, at least you have a house giving
Correct.
you cash flow. So what is your opinion
Yes.
or what is your take on this? Do you think that entrepreneurs alone, they are building wealth and growing the business, they should start learning about become a financial educated about keeping the money? Or do you think that at the time of exit, when they have too many millions and they have no knowledge, very wealthy, I think that they are very vulnerable with someone with high skills and can drop it in come maybe make them fall into a trap, right?
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Harry, because here's the underlying issue, and here are some scary statistics. So globally, we looked at some data that showed that less than 6% of businesses are ever sold for a profit if they're ever sold at all. And what that comes down to is that as a business owner, we sacrifice a lot. We usually get paid less than our employed counterparts. We work more hours, we take more risk. And once you factor all of those things into the equation, plus all of the reinvestment, when you sell your business, it actually is not very profitable for most people. So it is your prerogative to build wealth outside of your business. Now, most business owners hate tax, okay? But there is a tax that is far more detrimental than any government will ever charge you, and it's called the scale tax. That as you grow and scale your business, human behavior leads us to grow and scale our expenses. So there's so many businesses, and I'm sure you've seen this, Harry, that are bigger and have nothing more to show for it. They've got
Tell
more
me about
stress,
it.
more
Happened to me.
responsibility.
It happened to me.
Yeah, it's happened to me too, Harry. So what this comes
Welcome
down
to
to
my
is a
life.
behavioral, it's a behavioral principle that governs us as human beings called Parkinson's law. Because as human beings, we use the resources we have available. So the more resources we have, the more resources we use. So our job is to create structure that ensures that we have surplus. We're taking money off the table. And what we've been able to prove, Harry, is when we implement this system, not only are we able to take more money out of the business, that the business actually becomes more successful because when we're resourceful, when we're forced to be resourceful, we make better decisions as opposed to just throwing money at our problems blindly, right?
Absolutely.
So what we typically do, Harry, is we implement a system that we call the profit mastery machine. And it means that we actually hold our clients accountable to a minimum acceptable standard of profit that must be extracted from the business. And it forces them to run the business on what is left. So for most of our clients, they do between 20 and 30% profit margins. So on $1 million business, that's $200,000 to $300,000 a year. And then we do the same in their household, where we hold them to a higher standard of investing 20 to 30% of their household income in wealth creation. And I'll just explain this because there's a reason why business owners don't invest now. They're like, I want to live a really great lifestyle. So let's say I need to build $10 million in investment assets. Well, if I can only afford to invest $500 a month or $1,000 a month now, what's the point? But it's a momentum building exercise. We're building what I call money muscle memory. It's like going to the gym and saying, I want to be Mr. Olympia and trying to go squat 300 kilos. I'm going to hurt myself, right? Whereas if you want to start squatting, you start
100%.
with just the bar, right? You get the form right and you add weight over time.
It's
The
a
same
skill.
thing works for your money.
Exactly as you describe. It's a skill. The more you practice, the better you become. It's like driving
Exactly.
a car or like swimming. Okay. So
Exactly.
the fastest way that you learn the skill, the better. However, look, Jason, I'm rooting 100% for you, man. Thank you so much because exactly what you describe is what I believe. And I believe because you see, like it happened to me. It happened. This is, I remember you talking about the scaling of tax. I remember that I used to have in London, telling you 16, 18 years ago, a property business. We wanted to settle 5 million. It's rent to rent. We're renting the units and renting back in individual rooms to people coming to London. We call it landing services. And I remember that when I had 7 houses, I was doing everything by myself. I was making a lot of money with very little work. And I said, oh, let's scale up. And I remember that when we scaled to 14 houses, we were making the same money with more work. Because when you scale more, you need to employ people, then you need to pay more to the accountant, you need to do that. And you're thinking, okay, if I duplicate, I'm going to make double the money and double the profit. It doesn't really work like this because you will have the combined problem that these two entities together have that you didn't have before. So, and a very good way, like you described, is before you're ready to scale up, create a foundation, something that you are sharing here, which I'm a big fan, and I'm rooting for you 100%, and 100% I agree with you what you described there, because we want all the entrepreneurs that listen to this podcast to be healthy, wealthy, and happy. Okay.
Yes.
But keeping the money is a skill. The more you practice, the better you become. Okay.
Correct.
And we don't want anybody working hard. You know how difficult it is to start a business, to grow a business, to get product market fit, to save 1 million. You know how tough is all this, and then when you break all these barriers, right? And you there without financial education, and some people say, okay, diversify the business, okay? And I'm gonna ask you that one, yeah, because like I said, I talk a lot about the subject, and a lot of people tell me a lot of things, and they say, okay, diversify in the business. However, Jason, I think we cannot get emotionally attached. An entrepreneur will get emotionally attached to our business. We see the baby and we want this business outlast us, and we want this business forever. So all our life is to make this business bulletproof and create multiple streams of income, create this, create that, in order to make sure that the business survives forever. Whether there are other proven vehicles out there, which is something like property. I mean, you're the expert. You can mention. Actually, I would like to mention some for the people to learn something. There are vehicles that they are more, we can say, more easy to understand, and from your financial point of view, probably you have less risk because nobody. And this is my question to you. Okay, nobody really, the entrepreneurs, especially if they are first-time founders, they are not aware the huge risk that is to be in business. The other day, my brother called me. Look at this one. My brother called me and then, Harry, you're not gonna believe what happened. I said, what happened? He said, he imported a decoration and furniture from Indonesia to Europe. Okay, big warehouse. He told me it was a fire 9 miles from the warehouse in Spain. I said, really? And he told me, guess what happened? The wind moved the fire only 200 meters from the warehouse. And I couldn't even get to there because the fire brigade was protected. So he told me, almost the warehouse got burned. And you know what my answer that I told him, Jason? I told him, look, man, in order for this happen to you, you only need to be in business. If you're in business, these crazy things that no one
Things are
ever
gonna go
think
wrong.
that will happen can actually happen. So
Yes.
tell us your point of view, Jason. How entrepreneurs, okay, what is the real risk or the risk that we have building a business at all stages, okay?
Yes.
And what is easy, understandable, viable, some vehicles that they're not too complex that people can understand so they can start to mitigate
For sure.
the risk.
So let's talk about this. Everything is risky. Anything worth anything in this world comes with risk. And Warren Buffett famously said, you pay the biggest price for certainty. Okay. And I think this is often the biggest issue, that people want safety and security. But through the byproduct of that safety and security means that they don't manufacture growth, they don't manufacture freedom, which is the reason why we get into business in the first place. So my goal is to create asymmetrical risk versus return, where I have the ability to produce a significant return for the relative risk that I'm looking to take. So first and foremost, from a foundational perspective, the number one contributor to businesses failing is there is not enough demand in the market for what is being provided. It's that age-old product market fit, okay? But it's also that businesses have a value proposition, but they're not aware of the shifts in the market and of their customers, and therefore they become irrelevant over time. They essentially become obsolescent because of new opportunities that come into the market. So
And
what is
advanced
critically important?
technology, AI, a lot of things
So
come
what's
into play.
critically Exactly. So what's critically important, Harry, is that everybody realizes that their business is not forever and their business is never perfect. And they must constantly be updating and optimizing their market positioning, which in other words means, how do my ideal customers and clients perceive my business and my value in comparison to the other options that are available in the market? That is number one. The second biggest reason for failure is cash flow. A business never went broke with too much money in the bank, okay? And what I see is that businesses have, on average, looking at thousands of financials, Harry, most businesses have less than 1 month of cash to expenses. We help our clients build 3 to 6 months of cash to expenses, meaning that they have a financial
Wow,
runway.
that's very good.
When
That would be
things-
helpful in COVID. We talk a lot
Correct.
of people off guard. They didn't have
Exactly.
time to pivot.
Exactly. And what was interesting with that, Harry, is that our clients were not only able to navigate COVID, but they were able to capitalize on market opportunities that existed in COVID. And that was interesting. And the next part to this, and you spoke about diversification. I think most business owners are too obsessed with multiple streams of income. Like there's this thing that goes around that people need to create 7 streams of income. I call bullshit, Harry. Okay. I think that for the vast majority of entrepreneurs that are doing less than $1 million a year in revenue, diversify means diversify. It means that they're diluting their focus and they're diluting their results. So my philosophy has always been, you should have one client value proposition, one marketing channel, one funnel, one delivery channel until you get to $1 million.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.